why will One Piece Season 2 be better than Avatar Season 2? Today, that's exactly the question we're chasing. The Avatar Season 2 trailer has dropped, first look images are out, new characters have been revealed, yet somehow, it still hasn't given me that this is it feeling. Meanwhile, One Piece Season 2 doesn't even have a full trailer yet, and I already feel like a bigger, more colorful, and more powerful season is coming. So, why is that? Let's break everything down step by step and see which show is truly ready to level up in its second season. Before diving into the topic, I want to be completely honest with you. Lately, YouTube's algorithm has been hitting the channel pretty hard. Our videos aren't reaching as many people as they used to, and the only way to push through that is by moving together. So if you can take a minute to subscribe, like the video, and share your thoughts in the comments, you'd be helping this channel more than you can imagine. All right, if you're ready, let's begin. First, I need to make one thing very clear. On the anime side, Avatar and One Piece are equally valuable to me. I love both, I've watched both multiple times, and I've never said one is better than the other. So this video is not a comparison between the Avatar anime and the One Piece anime. What we're talking about here is strictly the live-action adaptations. Same stories, same characters, but very different feelings in live-action form. When I watched Netflix's One Piece live-action, I genuinely felt like I was watching an anime. The episodes flowed well, the tone felt right, and most importantly, I wasn't bored while watching. The characters' energy, the color palette, and the overall atmosphere successfully carried the spirit of One Piece. That's why, when Season 1 ended, the feeling that things will only get bigger in Season 2 came naturally to me. The show earned my trust. With Avatar's live action, I didn't feel the same way. While watching Season 1, I honestly had to push myself through many episodes. There were several moments where I kept going thinking, maybe it'll come together later. In fact, after finishing the series, I went back and rewatched the Avatar anime from start to finish, and I wasn't bored at all. Same story, but the live action didn't give me the same emotional impact. Looking at the Avatar Season 2 trailer, I can't deny that there are improvements. The visual quality looks better, some scenes feel more polished, and it's clear that Netflix paid attention to the criticism. But despite all that, the trailer didn't really excite me. There's a sense of it'll be better, but not it'll be way better. And this is exactly where we need to talk about why One Piece Season 2 still gives me more confidence even without a trailer. One of the biggest reasons One Piece Season 2 gives me hope is that Netflix no longer treats this project like a one-season experiment. The fact that Season 3 was approved before Season 2 even aired sends a very clear message. It shows that Netflix sees One Piece as a long-term universe. This isn't just a successful show getting a sequel, it's a planned roadmap. Avatar also has season approvals, but the level of confidence around One Piece feels much stronger. Story-wise, One Piece Season 2 crosses a critically important threshold. Leaving East Blue and stepping into the Grand Line is a turning point that completely changes the soul of the series. From that moment on, everything becomes bigger, more dangerous, and more emotional. The Netflix production team has openly said this is their goal, to scale everything up. Not just locations, but character development and emotional weight as well. Even looking at the season's route explains why expectations are so high. Logtown, Reverse Mountain, Laboon, Whiskey Peak, Little Garden, and Drum Island are some of the most unforgettable arcs in the One Piece world. Each island has its own tone, theme, and emotional core. That's a massive advantage for live action, because the story never gets stuck in one place, it constantly shifts pace and atmosphere. Drum Island, in particular, is clearly positioned as the emotional heart of the season. Tony Chopper's introduction to live action isn't just a visual challenge, it's about the soul of the story. Chopper's past, his loneliness, his rejection, and his relationship with Kureha add serious emotional depth to the series. The fact that Oda personally approved Chopper's design and scenes is a huge confidence booster here. When we shift back to Avatar Season 2, we see a more controlled and safer narrative structure. The Earth Kingdom, Ba Sing Se, and Toph are undeniably powerful elements. But what we've seen so far feels less like risk-taking and more like doing things correctly. And that brings me to this conclusion. While One Piece Season 2 seems ready to be bold, Avatar still feels cautious. One of the most important things that made One Piece's live action special for me was the casting. In Season 1, most of the characters didn't just look right, they felt right in terms of energy and spirit. Luffy's pure optimism, Zoro's presence, Sanji's charisma, and Nami's emotional balance were all well translated. I rarely felt like a character was miscast. From the first look images of Season 2, it seems that this consistency is being maintained. Of course, I do have one small question mark. I'll be honest and say I still have some doubts about the character of Vivi. Vivi is an incredibly delicate character in the One Piece universe, and a wrong interpretation could affect the entire dynamic. But if it's clearly confirmed that this character is truly Vivi and the story is handled correctly, I think most of my concerns will disappear. So, I'm not negative here, just cautious. On Avatar's side, the casting didn't give me the same level of confidence. I'm not saying the performances were bad, but there was a distance between me and the characters. Some emotional bonds that are incredibly strong in the anime didn't fully translate in the live action. Especially the team dynamic, it never quite delivered the warmth I felt in the animated series, and that caused disconnects while watching. For Season 2, Avatar introduces new cast members, and on paper, these additions are strong. Toph's arrival alone is a huge plus, but based on what we've seen in the trailer, these characters don't yet feel like scene stealers or tone shifters. They feel correctly added but not transformative. On the One Piece side, new characters completely change the direction of the story. Baroque Works, Crocodile, Robin, Smoker, and Vivi aren't just new faces, they introduce new themes. Political intrigue, moral conflict, justice, and freedom are explored much more deeply. This is what elevates One Piece Season 2 from a simple continuation into the series truly becoming itself. From a production standpoint, the signals around One Piece Season 2 are very strong. Bringing a world like the Grand Line into live action is a far bigger technical risk than Season 1. And yet, Netflix doesn't seem afraid to take that risk. Expanded sets, more complex VFX, and more cinematic camera choices all suggest a more ambitious season. Naturally, that raises expectations. Reverse Mountain and Laboon in particular will be some of the most technically challenging moments of the season. These scenes require a careful balance between practical effects and CGI. Even in the brief teaser footage, you can see respect for the anime spirit. Moments like the Going Merry pushing against the current aren't just visually powerful, they're symbolically massive. They reinforce One Piece's grand adventure identity. Avatar Season 2, on the other hand, shows a more controlled visual approach. Yes, the effects are cleaner, the sets are more detailed, and the overall look is better than Season 1. But once again, it feels like Netflix is prioritizing safety over boldness. Everything works, everything is polished, but sometimes that orderliness feels too safe, limiting excitement. One Piece's visual world, by contrast, embraces intentional exaggeration and bold color usage. This makes the show more energetic, more fun, and more unique. Translating anime aesthetics into live action without losing their identity is incredibly difficult, but One Piece seems to have found that balance. I think the biggest difference lies in how Netflix approaches these two projects. With Avatar, the mindset feels like let's do this right. With One Piece, it feels like let's make this bigger. One is cautious, the other is bold. And in a risky space like live-action adaptations, boldness often makes the difference. What truly separates One Piece from other live-action adaptations is Oda's direct involvement. This isn't just symbolic consulting, he's actively part of the creative process. Knowing that specific scenes, changes, and character interpretations were personally approved by Oda gives viewers a natural sense of trust. No one expects the anime and manga to be one-to-one copies, but when the changes come from the original creator, the perceived quality rises instantly. Oda remaining actively involved in Season 2 only increases expectations. With more time, a bigger budget, and lessons learned from Season 1, the chances of Season 2 surpassing Season 1 are quite high. Improved CGI, more refined effects, and a more cinematic production are all expected. Even in the first look images, you can feel this progression. They're still brief glimpses, but the signals are clear. For Avatar Season 2, my expectations are more reserved. I do believe it will be better than Season 1. Netflix seems to have taken criticism seriously. Visual quality has improved, the cast has expanded, and the story is moving toward a more mature direction. Still, Avatar feels like it's staying on a safer path. Better, but will it surprise me? That part remains uncertain. That's why, even without a trailer, One Piece Season 2 gives me more confidence than Avatar Season 2. There's a bolder approach, a clearer vision, and a stronger long-term plan. Everything in One Piece is expanding. The world, the risks, the emotions, and the story. Avatar feels more controlled, more structured, but also more limited. And in the world of live action, projects that push boundaries often leave a stronger impression. In the end, this isn't a final verdict video. Maybe Avatar Season 2 will surprise everyone. Maybe One Piece won't fully meet expectations. But today, based on the information we have and the feelings they give me, I believe One Piece Season 2 will be better than Avatar Season 2. The real question is this: does a show with a trailer inspire more confidence or one that has already proven itself? Make sure to share your thoughts in the comments, like the video, and subscribe to the channel.